G'day guys, how we going? Well, I've rolled in here pretty late last night, and this is a cracking spot called Italian Flat, about 10 or 15 k's out of the tiny town of Dargo and smack on the Dargo River. Now I've got a few tracks that I've got lined up over the next couple of days. Some of these tracks, I haven't done them for a while, so looking forward to revisiting those. So in the meantime, I'm going to finish packing up, grab myself a cuppa. You guys stick around, come along for the ride. Well, it's certainly a great spot here. Camped up here at Victorian Flat, right there on the Dargo River. Well worth checking out for anything in this area. Looking for somewhere to camp up for a night. We've got a couple of mates now to go and catch up with, get this trip started. So let's get this show on the road. Fantastic spot. I'll be back here at some stage because this is a great spot. Rolling into Dargo here, just in the town here. Mark's here, he's going to join us for the weekend. Got a cracking few tracks lined up, so catch up with Mark and we'll get this show on the road. Lined up outside the Dargo pub. A bit early to be probably dropping into the pub, but we'll drop in here anyway. Righto, catch up with Mark. Well, mate, I have to use my handheld radio this weekend. For some reason, the UHF and my vehicle's not working, so we'll get by with the handheld. Good thing got a bit of a backup, but these always come handy. That's the first track for the day. Having to travel far to get to the first one. This is Grady's track. Now, I haven't done this one for many years. It's going to be good to check this one out again. Fairly steep little drop off as we come off the Dargo High Plain Road there. Then we'll wind our way over the other side and probably go down Maguire's track or something like that onto the Wanagata Road a bit later on this afternoon, and maybe camp at Black Snake Creek or something later on tonight. But we'll see how we go. Got plenty of camping options once we get across that side. But again, the tracks are in good nick. With the fires we had here early on in the year, they put the dozers through all of these. They're in really good condition at the moment. But another few more months, weather will come across them and a lot more traffic, and they'll certainly roughen up again. But anyway, I dropped off there, second gear, low range. Working absolute treat. Low tyre pressures, standard tyre pressures again, 18, 20 psi, just works really well in the high country. Just to let you know, spend a fair bit of time in this sort of Dargo area while the seasonal track closures are going on, because there's still a lot open around this area during that time of the year. You know, apart from your Blue Rags and Dargo High Plain Road, and certainly can't get into Wanagata, but there's still a lot of tracks open in this Dargo area during the seasonal closures. So great area to come and check out. Wind our way up here. up section coming on here. As I say though, the tracks are in good nick. From the dozes through here earlier on the year, but still good fun nevertheless. Just turned off that track up there a bit further and picked up a track called Boundary Track. Now, I've never been down here before, but this is quite a steep hill going down. So this is certainly well worth picking up and having a bit of a check out. Some magnificent country out around here, through a lot of the burnt country from where the fires were a bit earlier on this year. And then we'll pick up Maguire's a bit further around and head back down and camp somewhere along the river, Wanna-Getta River, later on this afternoon. But this Boundary Track, well worth checking out. It's the first gear low range hill, all the way down here. First gear low range is working really well. No brakes on the brakes required. Just letting the engine brake and do all the work. And this is a good little track. Certainly been a good track, this Boundary Track. Good little up section here now. Hasn't been many graders over this one, but yeah, still plenty of traction. A lot of stone and rock in it, but good track. Nice and steep. Then we're going to turn right here. Whew. I might pull over and have a look at this view, because I tell you what, the view out there is pretty amazing. Let's jump out and check it out. So we're just heading up Riley Creek track now. Come off Boundary on the Riley Creek track. It's been a well worth little loop to come and check out. Now, I've not done either of those two tracks before, between Boundary track and Riley Creek track. So yeah, well worth checking out. And we'll follow this through all the way through and we'll pick up Maguire's track a bit further up. Now I've done Maguire's a few times. So we'll take Maguire's down to Wanna-Getta Road and then find out whether we camp somewhere tonight at say Black Snake Creek or we continue on. But still only pretty early, it's only about 11:30 at the moment, so still got plenty of time, but we'll make it up as we go. Just driving up to top of this tower before we start on Maguire's track down there. We'll come up here and check out the view from this tower. I reckon it's going to be pretty good. Look at this. 360-degree gig. Let's get out here and have a bit of a look, I reckon, because this is pretty impressive. Well, that was worth a little short trip up to that tower there. Have a bit of a look at the view. See right across to Billygate Bluff and all that across the other side. Fantastic view, well worth putting that in your books and come and check out the view. And just down the bottom here is where we're going to pick up Maguire track and we'll head down there. And so this is the start of Maguire's track here. So we'll take this down the bottom and get down the Wanna-Getta Road. and see what we end up doing for the rest of the day, whether we camp up for the rest of the night or we maybe do another track, but we'll see what happens when we get down the bottom. Righto, Maguire's track. Just off memory, there's a couple of little decent downhill sections on this track, so pretty keen to revisit this one. I haven't done it for a few years. Always good getting back over some old ground again, and even some new ground, which I've covered a fair bit of new ground just in today. That sign I just went past back there, HP 21, means helipad 21. Well, that sign there is very old because there's not many of those signs left, and around the high country and the helipads, they used to be all numbered, so if you ever got to an emergency, you'd make your way to one of those helipads, you could contact emergency services, just read the helipad number from where you were, and they knew exactly where to come and find you. Whereas now, because of the fires that have gone through the high country over the years, and for whatever other reasons, there's not many of those signs left, and it's been a fair while since I've seen one of those helipad signs, and that's as original as it gets. It's just another one of these steep downhill sections. As I mentioned, there's quite a few on this Maguire's track. Not far from the Wanagata Road down here, but I'm just going down here. I've got first gear, low range, just letting the engine braking do all the work, not even touching the brakes, and that is one of the beauties of having reduction gears that I do have in my vehicle, in my patrol. I've got a 42% reduction, which only changes the low range gearing in the transfer case, doesn't alter high range at all. But in country like this, particularly the mighty Victorian High Country, where there's so many uphills and steep downhills, reduction gears play a massive part. You know, just for safety, you know, not on your brakes at all. Like I said, you know, I'm sort of accelerating down these hills, not touching the brakes at all, which is a good thing, you know. But if you haven't got reduction gears, just try and stay off your brakes as much as you possibly can. Just feather them if you have to, you know, just to slow you down in case you start to run away just a little bit. Last thing you want is have brake fade. You don't have any brakes left at all, so just feather those brakes on the way down and should get down, no worries. Approaching back down the Wanagata Road, so down the bottom down there. Hang a righty here and we'll head up towards Black Snake Creek, the camp area there. Probably just going to have some lunch and see what we end up doing. We might stay there the night and see what happens. You know, you can hear that engine braking certainly doing the work in this last section. Like I'm only doing about 2 to 4 kilometres an hour, first gear, low range. Revs around of sort of about 2.5 to 3,000 revs. So working really well. Just rolling out that spot there, we just stopped in and had a bit of lunch at Black Snake Creek, sort of camp area there, right on the Wanagata River. We're going to continue along and maybe find a spot along the Crooked River for tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to look at doing Conway and Randall track. There are a couple of pretty steep tracks for this area, so we're going to do those tomorrow. But we'll go and find a spot now, get back up here on the Wanagata Road, wind our way through to Crooked River, and find somewhere to kick back and camp for the night. There's just another little tip I'll give you here on this Crooked River track, particularly if you're heading from Talbotville back towards Kingswell Bridge, but we're going the other way now, but still the same. So when you go up above that farmhouse there, and you're heading for the first river crossing that we're about to come up to down here, well, you'll come across a little track off to the right, which I'll stop down here shortly, and I'll explain what that track is in case you're not sure of what this track's all about. But it's just round the corner here, just before this first crossing. And this is it here. Now, you'll see this track here going off up there to the right. Now what that track is, that is a bypass track for these first 2 river crossings down here. So, because these are generally, out of the 6 crossings between here and Talbotville, these are generally the deepest out of those 6. So if you're coming, say, from Talbotville this way and you're finding those first 3 or 4 are fairly deep, you might not want to have a crack at the next 2. So this bypass track here, this was put in a number of years ago, and what this does, it bypasses these last 2 crossings here, and the other end of it comes out on Randall's track, which is a bit further out, and I'll show you Randall where it comes out on Randall's track tomorrow, because we're going to go up Randall's track. So you can take this bypass and it'll miss these 2 crossings here, and the reason why these 2 crossings are generally the deeper out of the 6 between here and Talbotville is because they're a lot narrower. So when the river's in full flood, these crossings down here, they fill up a lot more, get a lot higher because of the narrow crossing that there is across the river. So just keep that one in mind if you are not wanting to take on these first 2 crossings. You can take that bypass track, and it's a really easy drive through. There's nothing difficult about it. It'll bring you out there on Randall's track. You gotta just go down Randall's and then head towards Talbotville, or if you had to go back to Dargo, rather than go all the way back to Dargo, you could go up, take the bypass up Randall's track, and then pick up Grady's track, and then into Dargo that way. So there you go. That's what that track's for. Bypass track for these 2 crossings here. Now, spending 2-wheel drive all the way through there. I'm not expecting these crossings to be too bad today. Looking pretty good. 2nd gear, low range. And we'll just walk through here, no worries, I reckon. Not too bad at all. Certainly they would have been fairly high a couple of weeks ago when we've had a lot of rain and that sort of thing. It took a lot of snow melt. But you can see how narrow that crossing is, and that's why these ones do fill up and get a lot deeper than the others. Mark reckons he's found another spot down here, so I'm going to go and check out this one. So now it's time to kick back, relax, get a fire going, maybe a cold one or 2. Some of the things I like about going camping is having a good day out in the tracks, roll into camp and get set up, and then get a fire going. It's an old school way of lighting a campfire, but it's just how I like it. Fair income, you just can't beat cooking up a storm on the open campfire.